Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. I have no voice for a couple reasons that we're not going to get into. But free agency is upon us. And with free agency comes drama. And we got drama. We got drama. A name that people kept saying that I didn't want to believe came up and was signed to a contract with the Boston Bruins. We're going to go over all of them. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. The shop is open below on Redbubble. Make sure to click on the design because you can actually get those designs on a bunch of different products. God damn it, Lucic. God damn. Friggin' Lucic, man. That's what you want to talk about, right? I'm not going to put that at the back of the video. I'm not going to bury the lead. We're going to talk about the one you want to talk about. Milan Lucic has signed a 1-year, $1 million with the Boston Bruins. CapFriendly has this listed as a no-move clause attached to the deal. I don't know if I believe that yet. I haven't seen the final report on it. He also has a $500,000 performance bonus. I don't know what the stipulations for that are either. It's hard to find information right now with Twitter being what Twitter is. I know a lot of you wanted Lucic. And first of all, let me say, I love Lucic. I really do. I loved him in his prime, and one of the biggest reasons I don't want him on this team right now is because of how much I loved watching him when he was great, and I don't want to watch him not be great. All right? That feels fair. Is it selfish? 100%. But it feels fair. And I know that you know who Lucic was, right? You know. But do you know what he is now? Do you actually know what he is now? How much Calgary Flames have you watched over the past few years? Because Lucic is now a complete black hole offensively, doesn't have the foot speed to be effective on the forecheck, is not a defensive presence the way he used to be. I mean, his defense isn't terrible, but it's subpar. It's sub-average. It's not good. His foot speed isn't there. He won't get physically outmanned in an area, but he will get outmaneuvered. He doesn't have the quick feet. He doesn't have the vision. I mean, he doesn't have it anymore. I genuinely, if he watched this video, I'm not trying to shit on Lucic. It's hard to stay in this league, and he was an awesome player. But he's not an awesome player anymore. I just don't know why. I don't understand the nostalgia factor. I like my memories of him. He's not the same guy. And I don't know why people want him back so much. I am genuinely happy for you. Don't get me wrong. Seeing this amount of people just be absolutely pumped about this, fantastic. I'm excited for you. For me, it's a disappointment. I'm just bitter about it. I'm going to root for him. I'm going to hope I see him, play a really effective fourth line role. But man, I don't see it. I'm predicting it's not there. Prime Luch was a force of nature. He would demolish bodies, create turnovers, and score opportunistic big goals. That's what he was. He would instill legitimate fear in opposition. He can't do that anymore. I want him to succeed. Big Lucic fan. But I'm going to have a hard time watching who he is now. I will root for him every day. And I'll be so excited to see him kicking around Boston. But it's just, he's not the same guy. The contract's not a big deal. It's variable. If he's unplayable, it's variable. Not a big deal. But there's no evidence that players in the modern game are afraid of retaliation anymore. You don't actually protect your stars with big guys anymore. That's not the way the league works. Like, I know I see this complaint all the time about you have to have a guy who's going to make another guy think twice. That doesn't exist because A, these guys don't fight their own battles, basically ever anymore, especially the younger guys. And the league is actively trying to get away from fighting. Referees split things up as soon as possible. Penalties are called in a way to punish both sides or the one who, retaliated. The rules just aren't benefiting someone who's going to be a fighter because that's all he is at this point. And as fun as that is on ice, it brings nothing it brings nothing to the actual success of the team. It's just a waste of a roster spot and cap. Like, I want you to be excited. I'm going to be honest about my opinions on this stuff. If you want to be excited, I'm not going to think you're an idiot or whatever like that. I think too many people are also just crushing fans for being excited about something. Be excited. I'm just not in that camp. My God. It'll be fun watching him in the Spoke Bee, but not for long, unfortunately. Not for long. But let's talk about the other signings, which I thought were tremendous. I'm quickly going to rattle off the guys who are inconsequential. Patrick Brown, 2 years, $800K. No clue why we signed him for 2 years. Doesn't make sense. He might compete. Like, he can play center. He might compete for a fourth-line role. Comes up in injuries. I'd rather the spot go to a young guy. Same thing goes for Parker Wotherspoon, who probably won't touch the NHL. And then Jason Megna as well probably won't touch the NHL. Those were just little signings, two-way contracts, nothing special. James Van Riemsdyk. This was the big one to me. JVR. 29 points in 61 games played last year. Can play both left and right wing. 34 years old. 6'3", 220 pounds. Big boy. 1 year, $1 million deal. Very open about wanting to come over to a contender. Likes what the Bruins do every year. Wants to be on a competitive team. Hopefully we can make that happen for him. I love this signing. I love it. I don't understand the crowd acting like I've literally seen people say he's barely a fourth liner in this league anymore. If that guy saying that also wants us to sign Lucic, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, that's not true. He isn't peak JVR anymore. Do not get me wrong about that. But the past couple of seasons, the Flyers have been, terrible. The vibes have been disgusting over there. And absolutely torched by injuries. His line mates varied. He couldn't get any chemistry going, couldn't get any traction going. The teams were bad. And I know, we're going to talk about this a couple times. Bad teams are bad sometimes because they have bad players. That's a real thing. I just don't think he was one of them. In a perfect world, he's on the third line, not the second. It does look like he'd have to start the season on the second line, left wing, next to who I assume would be Zacha and Pasternak, but we'll see what happens. But I would like for him to be on the third line. His greatest asset by far is his net front presence, which is a little overstated by people right now because it's what he was so well known for. It has declined as years have passed, but it's still impactful. He goes to the right areas on the ice, likes to get in front of the goalie, and likes to create a little bit of pressure. His tip work is really good. Those goals are hard to come by, but they create rebounds, and he's fast on those pucks too. So as far as a middle six winger who's going to create a little traffic in front of the net, not be afraid of those areas, take some bumps and bruises, he's going to be a really great addition. I think people are going to be really excited about him. In 1 year, $1 million, again, that's nothing. That's nothing. Good deal. A signing. Another big one for us, Kevin Shattenkirk, a 1 year, $1.05 million deal. So $1,050,000. I'm really not. I wonder if they literally were like, hey, an extra $50K, and they're like, okay, fine. One of the few players who I felt didn't completely drown on a record-setting bad team in Anaheim last year. He was playing second pair minutes as far as like time on ice goes. I didn't watch a ton of the Ducks, I'll be honest. 200 pounds, 27 points in 75 games, 6 feet tall, 34 years old, and a -20 differential on a team that had triple digits in the negative category. Again, sometimes teams are bad because they have bad players on them. I think, again, Shattenkirk is not one of those guys. Shattenkirk is that average defenseman who does a lot of things well. Not great, not fantastic, not poorly, just well. He's going to get pucks out of the zone. He's going to have a nice first touch. He's going to have the vision to get it up ice. He can get his shot past the first defender when he's skating the blue line. There is a lot to like about his game as it's just even-keeled, smooth, and gets the job done. Is he going to be fancy? Is he going to highlight reels? No. But in a protected role on the third pair, whereas where I would put him next to Zaboral or Forbort, if Forbort's still around, you shore up that third right defensive slot with a veteran, well-balanced defenseman who isn't a negative in the offensive zone, isn't a negative in the defensive zone. He kills penalties. He's a really effective player at just doing the little things right, something that I think would be a huge benefit to this Bruins team right now, especially after the flame out this past year where it just felt like our own mistakes were killing us. This is a guy who just simply gets the job done. He's not what he once was. This is what kind of a theme with these signings, but it's $1 million, or just about $1 million for 1 year. It's a good deal for a guy to take care of a spot that we had open and that we needed filled, and we didn't have a lot of confidence in our young guys jumping up to fill. So I like the signing a lot. I would give it a B, B+. And that moves us to my favorite signing of the day, Morgan Geekie. 2 years, $2 million each year. He gets the bag from us. He's the highest paid guy we signed, which I find kind of funny. 24 years old, 6'2", 170 pounds, small guy, skinny guy. 28 points in 69 nice games played. One of the most effective point producers in a fourth line role in the league last year. Now, obviously, you hear 28 points in 69 games, you're not losing your mind, but that is in a very, very buried role, which he will likely be asked to do something similar here. He's not going to be asked to do a lot just to shore up our depth. This is a guy who I don't mind being in that lineup, preventing a young guy from jumping up, because I think he's going to add a really nice level of calm to them. He has to be lined up with defensive studs. He's not very good defensively, but my favorite thing about him is he's a playmaker when he's not working with a lot of talent. Not to say these guys aren't talented, you know what I mean by that. But when you're in the bottom six, you're not going to have a guy who has a bunch of finishing ability on your wing, or if he's playing wing at your center. But his ability to find guys, to create openings, to create lanes, and actually get the puck to them, giving them an easier chance, I mean, it's high. It's one of those things that he just has a natural ability to create. Things just tend to go that way with him on the ice. I don't think he's going to be used in any sort of shutdown role or anything like that. You'd probably see him creep towards that third line rather than the fourth. If he is centering the fourth, you better really hope that you've got some sort of defensive maniac next to him. But I really like this signing. It's for a small amount of money for just 2 years. It could be flipped pretty easily if we wanted it to. I really love it. I genuinely think that Geekie is going to turn into a quick fan favorite, as he's going to be that guy in the bottom six that creates a much more interesting look for us while the stars are on the bench. Oftentimes I get frustrated as a fan, not as when you try to be a student of the game and like analyze and understand it. You understand that there are certain roles to play in that bottom six kind of lines. It's frustrating, though, when your fourth line goes out and you go, all right, well, let's just hope we don't get scored on. Or we'll just watch this team shut the other team's line down, but, like, there's no chance we score. It's nice to have a guy in the bottom six that comes out and you still think that a goal might happen. Honestly, an excellent first day, in my opinion. We still have that empty 1C role, and I would honestly like to get another left winger in the building that can play middle of the lineup. But we have shored up our bottom six. We have added a little more scoring touch in JVR, even though I know he's not the same prime guy, but it's a decent deal, $1 million. And then, obviously, the third pair right defenseman role is Shattenkirk's to lose at this point. I think it's a really good start. We still have the cap space to sign our RFAs, and if Bergeron wants to come back, there's an opportunity for him. God, I hope he does. I really do miss him. I miss him. I have heard some concerns about chemistry, being able to gain that chemistry in time. I'm not worried about that at all. They're going to have some time to work things out. Shattenkirk and JVR are veteran guys. They should be able to get it figured out. And Geekie, I just don't think... I think his style is going to fit really well here, so I don't think he's going to struggle with any chemistry issues. So I'm not really worried about that, honestly. Anyway, guys, that does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. I hope everyone has a safe and fun 4th of July. Happy belated Canada Day for those of you who celebrated yesterday. And go Bees. Go Bees!